I taught her how to smirk. Now she keeps flirting like it's a game she refuses to lose. It started on a rainy Thursday afternoon, the kind where the city smells of wet asphalt and coffee. I had just ducked into my favorite corner café to escape the drizzle, shaking off the water from my jacket. That's when I saw her, Lila. She was perched on a high stool by the window, nose buried in a novel, hair falling in soft waves over her shoulders, completely unaware of anyone around her. I had met Lila a week ago at a mutual friend's gathering. She was all smiles and sparkling eyes, but there was a certain awkwardness in the way she moved her lips when she tried to flirt. It wasn't bad exactly, just missing a spark. And in a strangely protective, almost mischievous way, I found myself wanting to teach her something small yet powerful, the smirk. I slid into the seat across from her, ignoring the inquisitive glance she threw my way. "Hey," I said. "Can I sit?" Her eyes widened, a flicker of surprise and amusement. "Sure. If you promise not to make me spill my coffee." "I can make no promises," I replied, and that was my first smirk of the day. Subtle, deliberate, practiced. She caught it. I saw it. The tiniest twitch at the corner of her lips, like she was about to mimic me. "Do you always do that?" she asked, tilting her head. "Smirk, I mean." "Only when I'm trying to make someone curious," I said, leaning back. "It's an art, really. Not everyone pulls it off." Her interest was immediate. "Show me," she asked, the playful tilt in her voice matching her inquisitive eyes. I demonstrated, slow, easy, just the right curve at one corner of my mouth, eyebrow lifted slightly. "See. Subtle, not loud. Makes people think you know something they don't." She studied me carefully, then attempted her own version. It was endearing at first, uneven, more like a smile trapped in confusion. I laughed, a low chuckle, shaking my head. No. Me guide you. Relax your lips, let one corner rise, like you're enjoying a secret no one else can know. Or, try again." Her second attempt was closer but not quite perfect. She scrunched her nose, laughed, then tried again. By the third attempt she had it. A smirk that was mischievous, inviting and slightly dangerous. I leaned back impressed. "Well," I said, "looks like I've created a master of mischief." She blinked, mock offense in her eyes. "Master of mischief? I think you mean I'm a natural." The cafe's bell jingled as other customers shuffled in, but we barely noticed. We were caught in this tiny bubble of amusement and tension, like we were the only two people in the room. And from that moment everything changed. Over the next week, Lila experimented with her newfound weapon. At work, she smirked at colleagues with playful precision. In the grocery store, she smirked at strangers who made eye contact, and at me, she began to smirk in ways I hadn't taught her. Twisting it, testing it, pushing boundaries. She was learning the rules, then inventing her own. Our interactions became a game. Every time I saw her, it was a battle of expressions, subtle glances, and sly smirks. She would text me a photo midday, a coffee cup, a stray cat, a passing cloud, with that perfect little smirk, knowing it would irritate, intrigue, and delight me all at once. And I naturally had to respond in kind. One evening we were walking along the river, lights reflecting off the water like stars fallen to earth. The air was cool, the night quiet except for the occasional hum of a passing car. I nudged her gently. "You're dangerous with that smirk." She glanced at me, lips curved just so. "Dangerous?" Her voice was soft, teasing. "I think you like it." "I do," I admitted, and she paused, feigning surprise. "But be careful. You might get used to seeing me fall for it. Or," she said slowly, inching closer, "you might learn to love the game." And that's exactly what happened. The smirk became our language, our unspoken conversation. At dinners, at parties, at random moments in the park, she'd throw it at me like a challenge. And I'd respond, matching her move, countering with a glance, a tilt of my head, a raised eyebrow. Every encounter became a flirtation, a dance of wit and subtle seduction. But then, one night something shifted. We were lying on a blanket in my apartment, staring at the ceiling, talking about everything and nothing. Lila smirked as usual, but there was something softer beneath it this time, a vulnerability that hadn't been there before. "Do you ever get tired of the game?" Yes. She paused, considering, then shook her head. "Not when the game's worth it." Her eyes met mine, and suddenly the smirk wasn't just mischief. It was invitation, confession, and promise all at once. I smiled, leaning closer. "Then I guess we're both in trouble." Her laugh was low, warm, and real. She smirked one last time, lingering on me, before resting her head against my shoulder. "Maybe," she whispered. "But some games are meant to be won, together." And in that moment, the game became more than just smirks and playful banter. It became a bond, a connection deeper than words, sealed with laughter and subtle glances. The thrill of the chase remained, yes, but now there was trust, warmth, and something unspoken that made every smirk, every flirtation, every teasing glance feel like the beginning of something far greater than either of us had anticipated. We had started with a lesson, a playful spark in a rainy café. But what grew from it was more: love, laughter, and the thrilling, intoxicating dance of two people who refused to let go of the game, because the game itself had become life. And maybe, just maybe, I wouldn't want it any other way. But then, one night, everything shifted. We were lying on a blanket in my apartment, soft light spilling through the window, talking about everything and nothing. Lila smirked as usual, but there was something different. Something softer beneath it, a hint of vulnerability I hadn't seen before. "Do you ever get tired of the game?" I asked quietly, tracing patterns on the blanket. She paused, lips curved just so, then shook her head. "Not when the game's worth it," she said, eyes locking with mine. Her smirk lingered, but it wasn't just playful anymore. It was invitation, confession, and promise all at once. I smiled, leaning closer. "Then I guess we're both in trouble." Her laugh was warm, low, and genuine. She rested her head on my shoulder, still smirking. "Maybe," she whispered. "But some games are meant to be won together." In that moment, the game became more than smirks and teasing glances. It became trust, connection, and something unspoken that neither of us needed words to define. Every playful glance, every mischievous tilt of her lips now carried weight, but also joy. The thrill of flirting remained, yes, but it was layered with warmth, intimacy, and the certainty that we were in this together. We had started with a lesson in a rainy café, a simple game of teaching a smirk. Yet from it grew something far greater than either of us had expected. A bond, alive with laughter, mischief, and love. The game wasn't over. It never would be. But now it was ours, a shared adventure that neither of us would ever want to end. And as I held her close, feeling the slow rhythm of her breathing against mine, I realized that sometimes the best victories aren't about winning. They're about finding someone who makes every move, every playful glance, feel like home.